certain matchups in sports, I can't even visualize an upset. I'll give you an example. College football playoff, Alabama faced Washington. I'm from the Pacific Northwest, and I kept telling my friends, save your airline flights. Washington, their offensive line got pushed around by USC's defensive line. At home, you're not going to the South with Alabama's defensive line better than USC's and throwing the football. Your quarterback's going to be under constant duress. USC's front seven manhandled Washington. Manhandled them. I'm like, what do you think Alabama's going to do? I could just not visualize an upset. Washington threw for 57 yards. That game, you could sense, here's what it's going to look like. Point of attack, massive mismatch. Game 5, Cleveland, Golden State. I said Golden State's going to win. They're going to win comfortably. Cleveland needed 24 threes at home to win Game 4. Golden State came out defensively, not ready to play. You knew now at home, Cleveland was, even if they hit 16 or 17 threes, a huge number, that was the difference in the game. And that would be a good night of threes. 24 was outrageous. There are certain times I can't even visualize one side winning. Announced about 3 o'clock yesterday, depending on where you live, noon or 3 o'clock, Conor McGregor will fight Floyd Mayweather. I'm happy for Dana White. He'll get richer. I'm happy for Conor McGregor. He'll get really rich. Never been a huge fan of Floyd. But I will say this. I can't visualize Floyd Mayweather losing. I think the bigger issue is I can't visualize at this point an entertaining fight. I think it's going to be an old Mayweather avoiding punches, scoring with quick jabs and moving. He's done that most of his career. And I think Conor McGregor knows he has no chance to win. This is not a fight as much as it is a payday. And I am not financially envious of others. I celebrate others' financial success. Good for everybody. Big win. I think the press conferences up to the fight will be wildly entertaining. I don't think the fight itself will be. It's a sanctioned payday. It's Evel Knievel with no chance of crashing. In fact, Conor McGregor knows he has no chance. That's why he wanted to get a certain amount of money, because he will not be allowed to kick, and he said, okay. He'll not be allowed to wrestle, and he said, okay. He won't be allowed to choke, and he said, okay. And he can't even use MMA gloves, and he said, okay. If Clayton Kershaw went to another team and was not allowed to pitch, there's only one way he would do that. If the money was so outrageous that Clayton Kershaw would go play first base, be bad, and pocket $400 million. If Steph Curry and LeBron James were going to have a sanctioned one-on-one event, they were going to play one-on-one basketball, it was going to be a pay-per-view event. And Steph Curry said, okay, I'll agree, no three-pointers. In fact, no shots over 18 feet. Steph Curry would be acknowledging, I'm doing this for the money. And this happens all the time. This is Evel Knievel without the chance of crashing. It happens all the time. Money is so great, you do things you don't necessarily think you're going to be wildly successful at. Let me give you an example. George Clooney did a Batman movie. George Clooney later acknowledged, I did it because a studio would allow me to then do the movies I wanted to do. Steve Buscemi did Armageddon. Buscemi later acknowledged, I just wanted to own a bigger house. He said that. I'm okay with that. I think this happens all the time. If Curry played LeBron on a one-on-one event and gave up the three-point shot, if Clayton Kershaw went to another team and didn't get to pitch, I understand it. It's a money issue. And I'm not going to sit here and say money doesn't matter or money hasn't influenced me in some area of my life. There have been moments I have done things which I don't necessarily want to do. I've got to be honest. Occasionally I do speeches. I'd rather stay home with my family. I don't want to fly to the middle of the country and do a speech to people I don't know. I make good enough money, and I'm kind of a homebody. But if you pay me $30,000 for a 40-minute speech, I'll probably do it. I'll get on a puddle jumper. I'll fly to Appleton, Wisconsin. I've done it occasionally, but it is a money issue. And this happens for actors, and it happens a lot for entertainers. It's probably happened for lawyers who take certain cases where they don't necessarily think they have a shot to win, but it's going to pay a lot. I get it. I'm not going to admonish it. I think the bigger concern for Dana White is the money will come flying in. How is it possibly going to be an entertaining fight? That I can't visualize because I have watched both fight, and I know what McGregor is, super aggressive, but he has relinquished all of his skills and advantages to fight Mayweather, who's not aggressive and gets all the advantages of no kicking, no choking, no holding, no biting, no anything. Obviously, MMA, you can't bite. Any advantage Conor had, he relinquished for the money. 86-14 chance Mayweather will win, according to RJ Bell at pregame.com. I think that's actually not as great as I would have guessed. I would have guessed 97.3, 96.4%. I'm trying to visualize how it could be wildly entertaining. I think the press conferences up to the fight will be outstanding.